Name's Jess. I'm 26 years old and I just recently moved back with my parents in Queensland. Very, very interesting year. So, COVID happened, obviously, and I lost my job at a PR firm in Melbourne. And I was also living in a share house. So I had rent to pay, I had bills to pay. After losing my job, I realized there was nothing really holding me down in Melbourne. So I made the decision to move back in with my parents who lived in Queensland. And so I sold my furniture, I packed up all my stuff, loaded up my car and drove for 2 days back home. And I've been at home ever since. Extremely difficult because I've been in Melbourne for 3 years now. I developed such great relationships and friendships and just fell in love with the city in Melbourne. So it was extremely hard. But I also knew that I would be digging myself a hole if I stayed at this share house and continued to pay rent when I was making no income. It was a bit challenging at first because Queensland did force me to do 2 weeks of quarantine. It was really difficult. The 10th day, I literally wanted to shoot myself, but got through. And it's been really great. I feel really lucky to have left Melbourne at the time that I did because I feel like COVID doesn't really even exist in Queensland and restrictions are a bit more less than Melbourne, I guess. And I'm back with my family, which is nice, and back to seeing my old friends, and I've finally got a new job, which is really good too. I think if you ask anyone that has moved out of home and had to go back living with their parents, they would tell you that it is super challenging because there is nothing better than leaving home and just doing everything that you want, doing anything that you want, and just feeling super independent. And then having to come back home is a massive adjustment, yeah. But it's been really nice to re-engage with my family after 3 years. No, it's such a great question. I think about that every day. Since losing my job, that has impacted me financially quite hard. So although every day I would love to move out of home, I think financially I still do need to stay at home just for a little bit longer so I can save a little bit more money so I can afford living out of home. But eventually once Melbourne clears and the cases are done and regulations have changed, I'd love to return to Melbourne. Honestly, I really didn't. I really felt like I found my groove in Melbourne. I was lucky to have a great job there as well. So I never saw myself moving back, but I do believe everything happens for a reason, and COVID sort of forced me to focus on myself and take some time off for myself. And it's been a challenging year, but it's been a really great one internally as well. But